Okay, today I want to talk to you about the Urban Rabbit Project series of books. I'll be reviewing all 3 books, and this is the first one, Backyard Meat Rabbits by Boyd Craven Jr. Boyd runs Backyard Meat Rabbits Facebook group, and there's really a good wealth of knowledge there for everyone from beginners to people that have been doing it for a long time. I can't recommend the group highly enough. He also runs the website The Urban Rabbit Project, which does have some good material, and it also has links to all of the stuff he sells. The other books in the series, the Hopper Popper, which is a type of ringer, and his Cubit Press, which is a way of making your own rabbit feed into condensed bricks and stuff. So there's a lot of good information on his websites. This book is it's pretty light. There's not a lot of information in it. It is more of a summary for someone who is considering getting into raising meat rabbits in their backyard. This is more on the city level. It's not really the hobby farm or anything like that. It's basically, how to raise them in your backyard away from prying eyes and that sort of thing. So it doesn't delve deeply into anything, but it does give a nice overview of the things involved. If you are still on the fence, this would be a good book, I think, for you to read, especially if you are in the northern states or the lower provinces of North America. He talks about how to get started, what type of housing, how his hutches. He shows pictures of his hutches, and he talks about the type of feeders and waters you might want to get. I don't necessarily agree with his take on waters. I really believe in water bottles, and he's more believing in the crocks. But I've just had too much trouble with rabbits throwing their crocks. I don't care how heavy they are. But that's what he recommends, and he recommends a lot of natural feeding, which he gets more into. Well, he gets totally into in the second book, which I will be reviewing. But he does talk about the food he raises in his yard to feed to the rabbits and how he forages for food for the rabbits. He talks about feeding his breeders specific diets and feeding his grow out specific diets. I agree somewhat with some of what he is doing, but I free feed my rabbits all of the time just because they don't overeat, and maybe I'm just lucky. He specifically feeds certain amounts. He talks about breeding and his method of doing that, where he'll take the rabbit and he'll put it with the buck and leave it there for several go rounds, and then 8 hours later he'll repeat the process with the buck. I don't do that myself. I leave him in for 2 or 3 hours and I'm done with it. But that's his method, and then the next day he breeds his other doe, because he only has 2 does, so that the babies are still born close together in case you need a backup. And he does a brief record keeping info page sort of thing. It doesn't go in to depth, but it's enough for personal records. It would not be enough if you were selling your rabbits, but he doesn't do that. So it's good enough for, the backyard breeder who is just the backyard breeder who is just raising for meat and wanting to keep track of who his good production animals are. So yeah, a very basic, very easy, fast read for someone who wants to get into it but isn't quite sure where to start.